So I am going to talk about the huge clothing haul I got today from Fashion Nova. This is my first contact with the brand. I've never shopped here before, but I kept seeing them over and over again online, on my Instagram, on YouTube, and I was like, let me go ahead, dive in and give it a shot. Now, welcome to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Nicole Dominique from Nicole Beauty Co, and I am all about plus size fashion, mature makeup, and fun lifestyle. So I got the order very quickly after it was processed. When I processed, I would say that the order took a little longer than I expected to process, but once it did process, it shipped right away. It arrived in a large box, and each of the items arrived in a sealed plastic bag. Most of them had a desiccant packet in them, and many of them had tissue paper. So the first dress I got was called the Pull Me Closer dress in bronze, and I paid $24.50. And I was really surprised. I don't normally opt for bodycon dresses because I don't have that beautiful hourglass figure or that gorgeous pear-shaped figure that looks so sexy and beautiful on plus-size ladies. I just don't have that going on. But I decided I was gonna step out of my comfort zone, and I tried that dress. Now the fabric I absolutely loved, and I actually really loved the cut of this dress. I thought it was really cute and surprisingly flattering for a bodycon dress. Now I've ordered every single thing from Fashion Nova in size 2X with the exception of the jeans, which I ordered in 1X because I was hoping that even though I felt like they would likely be tight in the waist, that it would better fit my butt and my thighs. So this dress was a 2X, and I thought it was really nice. It's very sexy. I could not wear a bra with this dress. As a matter of fact, all the dresses today, I did not wear shapewear. So you're getting, in my opinion, kind of like the worst case scenario. It can only get better from here, right? If you put on some shapewear. I didn't, because I wanted you to see the way it fit me without any corrective waist nippers moving forward, so that if you're shaped like me, you have some idea of what the clothes will actually look like. So that was my first item. So my next item I got in an absolutely beautiful golden fabric was called What a Trophy. And the What a Trophy dress was $31.49. And I love the fabric. It's super comfortable. It had this beautiful kind of long train. You can see it was ruched on one thigh. Now, I thought that this dress would be best suited for somebody with an hourglass shape. I don't think it was the most flattering on me with an apple shape. I just felt like the belt was, or the belt sash, peplum, was gorgeous. It actually fell to the floor. I thought it was gorgeous, but I just don't think it worked on me personally. So that dress was not necessarily my favorite. But I really liked the fabric. It was soft. I felt like it was constructed well. I think for $31.49, if you happen to be an apple shape, this might not be the right look for you, but if you happen to have larger girls or a larger butt to show off, I feel like this would have been a much more flattering look than it was on me personally. Now my next dress I had high hopes for because generally fit and flare dresses look fantastic. And this dress was called the Hard to Love. And it has a very shiny effect. Now you can see there's tons of wrinkles in it, and I felt I didn't want to steam, press, iron, or alter any of the clothing. You are seeing it as it came out of the protective bag. The reason I wanted to do that is partially twofold. If I was going to send it back, I didn't want to take the risk of damaging it by either steaming it or ironing it, and I thought it was important for transparency purposes for you to see what this dress was going to look like. Now this dress is such a gorgeous color. This was one of the dresses that made me so sad. I really wanted this one to fit, and I thought it would look amazing had it fit. Now, I may order this dress again in a smaller size because at 2X, I was absolutely swimming in it. It was huge, which is, you know, unfortunate. So that was just a sizing issue. I do think if I got the appropriate size for my frame, that would be a great dress. I just ordered it off my waist, and that one actually had an elasticized waist. So and the Hard to Love Me dress was $31.50. So the next dress I tried on was the Snatched and Ready bandage dress, and I've always wanted a bandage dress. This dress was just absolutely so well constructed. It really surprised me. It was beautiful, and I think if you had or a pear shape, you would really love this dress because it is actually incredibly well constructed. I've paid much more for dresses that were less well constructed, but obviously, as you see in the video, I'm absolutely swimming. It fits me in the waist, it doesn't fit the bust, it doesn't fit the butt, and I don't want to spend a ton on alteration, so that one is going to go back for me. And that dress was $34.99, and I really did like it a lot. I'm really sad that it didn't fit because I thought that the cut and the fabric details were gorgeous. So at $42, my next dress was the Animal Within, which was the off-the-shoulder dress with kind of corset lacing from the armpit all the way down to the thigh. Now this dress has a little bit of elastic on the shoulder, and inside the bust area it actually has two pads similar to what you might see in a bathing suit. But the length of the dress was extremely long, so I thought that this dress was a tiny bit big in the bust. It fit my waist. Now I could go with a smaller size, but then I would have to have an actual split where you saw skin, which I didn't want to do, but I think if I went down from a 2X to a 1X, that might have been a solution for me. But the length was a problem. It hung on the ground by a good 6 inches. And when you're buying a dress that's, say, under $50, I have to really love it to spend what will be the equivalent of another, in my town, $50 to $60 to have it altered. So it's turning a $50 or a $30 dress into a much more expensive purchase. But I did think it was beautiful. It was a very lightweight fabric. I loved the sleeves. And I think for someone who's shaped a little differently, that could be a really sexy and awesome look. So the next item up was the Call Me Royalty jumpsuit, and that was $45.49. And I myself have never ever bought a jumpsuit before. This was literally the first time I've even ever tried one on, and I loved it. It was amazing, but of course it was far too big. I was absolutely swimming in the bust. The butt was much too large. Now I could have lived with the butt and thighs being large because it was a jumpsuit and that was more parachute pants or harem pants like, but the bust was just so over the top big it had to go back. Now it was really well constructed, but I liked it so much I did order that immediately in a smaller size, because obviously with fast fashion sometimes things go out of stock and come back in stock, and I didn't want to risk it. I really want to wear that. I thought it was absolutely beautiful and well made, and I thought it looked like a much more expensive piece than it was. I thought the print was absolutely gorgeous, and I really liked it, and that's why I ordered it again immediately and didn't even wait for the returns that I sadly have to send back. Next, I got the Wildest Dream midi dress in green, and I absolutely thought this was such a cute dress. I like the little cutout detail on the shoulder. I thought that was fun. I thought the wrap was good. This was a 2X. I wouldn't personally have gotten this dress any smaller. So I think 2X was the bare minimum that I personally would have gotten. Again, as with most things, I think that the detailing on the stomach helped break up my silhouette, but this was a final sale item. I didn't realize that at the time I ordered it. So I know they have some left. I don't know how many they have left. I paid $10.49 for that. So I thought that was a steal, and I am definitely going to enjoy working that into my wardrobe. Then I wore this gorgeous ruched Shanghai ruched dress in hunter green, came at $17.49. This was an incredibly comfortable dress. I felt like this was a dress that you could wear out at a club and be super comfortable all night. Now it is very revealing. The fabric is soft and sensuous against your skin, but it's extremely thin. And so it's going to show every single lump and bump from the back side or the front side. I think you must wear shapewear with this particular dress. It's so thin. If you want to have that smoothed out silhouette, of course, as I mentioned, I wasn't wearing shapewear, but I think you would have to if you want that dress. at $19.60, always a party. And this was my first tube dress. You can see it's super sparkly and it's really, really stretchy. The material just gives and gives, and it is actually lined. So this dress is not a normal silhouette for me. I normally wouldn't go for a tube dress just because I think that for me personally, I just don't love the way it grabs my midsection, but I was trying to get out of my comfort zone. And if you love things that grab you and show off your curves, this could be a great dress, especially if you have more curves than I do. I'm kind of straight up and down, so I liked the way it grabbed my bust. I didn't love the way it grabbed my waist. And that was $19.60 in a 2X. At $20.99 was the Chanel split leg jumpsuit. And that jumpsuit to me at 2X, I would have guessed if you hadn't told me what size it was that was a 3 or 4X. It was absolutely huge. Now I love the cut on it, but the legs were far too long. It just wasn't flattering because it was so large. And that is definitely something I would have to have altered if I kept it, because it dragged on the ground by probably 3, 4, 5 inches. And I'm not generally into dresses that have a train to the point where they're touching the ground, just because for me, I'm like, people are gonna stand on it at a club, or it's gonna get dirty, and you know, so that was a no-go for me. I wasn't down with that. At $24.49, we have the Dare to Mock Me dress in camel. I love the color. I liked the fabric. This dress was a dress that I think would have looked fantastic one size down. If I had got it in 1X, I think it would have looked much more flattering to me. It was just a little bit big, but I loved the cutout across the bust. I've never had a dress that did that, and I thought it was beautiful. That to me was just a matter of it not being the right size. If it was the right size, I think that would have been a great dress. Then we have the Sonia D mock wrap dress in Marsala. Sonia D wrap mini dress, and that was $16.09, and it's made out of a really soft, very thin, almost t-shirt-like material. I thought the cut was flattering to me. The sleeves were a little bit long, but because it was so thin, it was one of those dresses that I think you would have to wear shapewear with if you wanted to smooth everything out and have a clean silhouette. And for being such a thin and inexpensive dress, I just felt like that was a lot of trouble to go to personally, to have to wear both shapewear just to wear that. So that one's also gonna go back, even though I do think that it basically fit, other than the sleeves were a little bit long. Then 1608 was the yellow top, and that is called the All My Love top. Now that top was also final sale. You can probably get a few, but there's not gonna be a ton if you love that particular one. That one could not have gone any smaller on the waist, because there is no stretch whatsoever to that satin fabric. I loved the cut. I thought it was a beautiful cut, very imaginative. It definitely came out wrinkled and could stand a steam, but I did love the side peplum on it. I thought it had a beautiful drape. It just, you know, it was one of those things where if you had a smaller, more snatched in waist, I think it would have been more dramatic. I think it looked a little less dramatic because I am apple shaped. And of course I paired that with these jeans, and these are in 1X, what I believe is pronounced Jodeci jeans in dark denim. Those were $19.99, and I thought they were not a good fit for me personally. Fit is always a hard subject with me, because essentially through most sizes, my butt is roughly anywhere, depending on the manufacturer, between say a size 12 towards a size 14, where my waist can be, depending again on the manufacturer, anywhere from a 16 to a 22, in Asian sizes all the way up to a 5X. So I'm always kind of trying to skate that line, and it's unfortunate that, generally speaking, I have to try things on from new manufacturers, at least 1 or 2 large orders, so I know how they cut their clothes, so I know what is likely to fit me and what isn't going to fit me at all. So at $378.97, that was my Fashion Nova haul. Overall, my impressions were actually very positive, even though the overwhelming majority of clothing didn't fit me. I did use their sizing chart, as I mentioned, but it just didn't work out. I am certainly going to order from them again. As I said, I ordered that lovely jumpsuit immediately. And it's funny because there wasn't a 30% sale on when I ordered it again in a smaller size. So the first time I paid $45, $49 for it, and the second time I paid, I think, almost $75, including shipping. But it was totally worth it because I think that one is going to be a fantastic outfit once I get it in the right size. So generally speaking, when you're apple-shaped, when you are short-waisted, when you don't have a huge difference between your bust and your waist and your hips, I think one of the things that I find frustrating is they assume that as you go up in sizes, you're just a bigger hourglass, or once in a while you'll find somebody that cuts something so that you're a bigger pear-shaped. And I don't know statistically if being apple-shaped or short-waisted is rare, but I feel like the fashion manufacturing industry does not at all cater to that. And so you have to do things to try to make things work. You know, sometimes in bikinis, you've got to get a different size top and a different size bottom, or in dresses, you've got to have something that is more forgiving in the waist, and then you can kind of size down because your butt and your boobs are just not going to be as big as, say, someone else. That's something I've struggled with my whole life, and that's actually one of the reasons I almost never wear jeans, because I rarely find jeans that I consider to be comfortable. If it fits my waist, chances are 99 out of 100 times isn't going to fit my butt, and it isn't going to fit my thighs, and it's going to look weird because it might be skin tight on the waist, but in the butt and the thighs it's actually drooping and it looks not how I would prefer the silhouette to be. Or if it fits my thighs and it fits my butt, I'm going to barely be able to close that. So that was the case with these jeans. They were stretchy, and they stretched a lot. They were far too long. I would say probably a good 3 inches too long. And because they were so stretchy, they fit my legs and they fit my thighs and they fit my butt a little bit, but there was a lot of extra fabric around the hip and the seat of the jeans. And then at the waist, it was, you know, it barely fit there. It was tight to the point that it was pinching me. So that's just my jean quest. Whenever I buy that kind of thing, I just have a really rough time with it, and that's just the way it is. Anyway, I really hope that this helped you, that you can kind of get a sense of what those fashions look like on a body such as my own. I am certainly going to go back to them again. I really did like it, and I was actually surprised by the quality of several of the pieces for a fast fashion retailer. Fashion Nova actually really impressed me, and I look forward to shopping there in the future. So I don't think it's the fault of the retailer that not everything fit and not everything fit appropriately. That's just my body type, and that's just a struggle that I have to deal with. Now, I tried several different types of clothing, and several of them were too big. Now, the way that I personally went about shopping, I went by my largest measurement, which is what I generally always do. I have to go by my stomach, because if I go by my hips or my bust, it literally will rip out at the stomach. So I have to go by my stomach. And then usually what happens is the bust and the butt, I absolutely swim in. And that was certainly the case in many of the outfits I tried. Now, I spent $378.97 in total. There was a 30% sale going on, so I got quite a bit. What ended up being probably slightly over $450, $500 ended up being just under $400. And I got 13 outfits in total, which I think was pretty good. I felt like the brand communicated well. I got emails letting me know when the item had shipped. When I placed my order online, it was very easy to shop. It did take me a long time because this retailer carries a lot of things. Now, just so you know where I'm coming from, I am apple-shaped, so shopping online is always a challenge for me if the silhouette is anything except a fit and flare dress. And even sometimes fit and flare dresses don't work for me because I have such a large midsection in comparison to my bust and my hip ratio. So my bust is actually a 42 B as in boy. I do not have large girls. My waist is 40 inches and my hips are 41 inches. So I go from 42 to 40 to 41, which is only a 1 inch difference from my waist to hip ratio and a 2 inch difference from my bust to waist ratio. Well, if you're an apple shape like me, you know it is very difficult to find clothing that's going to look appropriate and fit right and make you feel body confident, because most retailers expect you to have anywhere from a 6 to 10 inch difference between your bust to waist ratio or your butt to waist ratio, neither of which, sadly, I have. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have a fantastic day. Ciao.